Yes, hello and welcome to Insights webinar series from Harvard Business Review Arabia. My name is Karim Tabba. I'm a member of the advisory board of HBR Arabia. Our today's webinar is called AI Marketing, Robots in the Streets, Christofle Luxury Experience in UAE and the World. Now, I tend to guess that many of you have joined us today because you are interested to learn more about artificial intelligence and the human-robot interaction, which are currently among the hottest topics in business. Or you might have joined us because you are a retail professional and you would like to know how new technologies such as AI and robotics could shape the future of your industry. But from my personal point of view, I see today's session unique because it is important, because it's about an experiment that has scientific value as well as practical value. This is very important as there has been always a long-standing debate between professionals and academics about what business knowledge should be about. Professionals have always criticized academic researchers for prioritizing academic rigor over practical relevance. Professionals called academic researchers to step out of their ivory towers and to pay more attention to business problems that real managers actually encounters, rather than giving all the focus on theoretical contribution. On the other hand, academics have always criticized knowledge generated by non-academics for being based on intuitions or inspirations rather than scientific evidence or facts. Now, luckily, our guests today are scholars and practitioners at the same time. Their work contributes towards bridging the gap between rigor and relevance. Their experiment, which they are going to present today, started from a real business inquiry by a leading luxury retailer, Christofle Paris. The inquiry was, is it possible to influence consumer behavior using artificial intelligence with a robot? Then they have designed a scientific experiment and collected sufficient qualitative ethnographic marketing data and generated findings that are relevant to the management of Christofle Paris and also relevant to the human-robot interaction literature, which is a topic that has recently caught the attention of many social scientists, including business researchers. Now, you will find in the next issue published by HBR Arabia, a case study that summarized the experiment that our guests are going to talk about today. Now, our guests today are Dr. Marcel Saucet and Mr. Michel Chalhoub. Dr. Saucet is a visiting professor at the University of San Diego. He's also the head of the doctorate in business administration in the luxury industry at ECGCI Paris in partnership with the University of San Diego. He has also authored many scientific publications, including books, academic articles, Harvard case studies on street marketing and artificial intelligence. He also runs a marketing agency specializing in street-level AI with the use of AI software, Nestor AI. He's an award-winning author. He won the US Best American Book Award in 2015 in advertising. His next book, Artificial Intelligence, A Marketing Manipulation, is launched in September 2022 by ECUST edition. Hopefully we'll spare a few minutes at the end of our webinar today to talk a little bit about it. Our second guest is Mr. Michel Chalhoub. He's co-owner and family board member of the Chalhoub Group, which employs 12,000 personnel in the Middle East, and it is one of the leaders in luxury retail. He's also a doctoral researcher of business administration in luxury goods and legal issues, DBA, at ECGCI Paris in partnership with the University of San Diego. He works on artificial intelligence and manipulation of consumer behavior in the luxury industry. Now, our today's session will consist of two parts. The first part is an interactive presentation by the guests. After the presentation, we'll continue with Q&A session and conclude with a brief overview of Marcel's upcoming book. So please keep your questions coming through the Q&A chat box. Now, to you, Marcel and Michel.
Thank you, Mr. Chalhoub. Mr. Worker, okay, thanks, Karim.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Really good introduction.
Thank you. Thanks to you. Pleasure to have you today.
True. Everything was true.
We're sure about that.
So we're going to start on this artificial intelligence marketing experimentation, robots in the street. I have collaborated with Michel for 3-4 years now. Mm-hmm. And he's going to explain you our research question.
So our research question is if it's possible, as you said, to influence consumer behavior, but by the means of artificial intelligence through a robot, and here specifically offline, through an offline robot.
So what we have done, we have put the artificial intelligence that we have in our cell phones And we did put them in robots, in one robot. And we put this robot in a store, in a luxury store, Christofle, and we wanted to see the reactions of the people have some measures, because we noticed that luxury brands were scared.
Very scared of modernization, of huge modernization, digitalization. It's always a big step for luxury brands, especially all big luxury brands. And this modernization, digitalization is always very hesitant.
So we wanted to come first with real scientific figures to show that if you take robots, if you implement robots in a boutique, you will have specifically the result that we are going to show you in a couple of minutes. So we'll start with a brief presentation of the case study, and then Michel.
I will present the executive and academic state-of-the-art about robots and AI. What is that? Well, the state-of-the-art is what is doable today, what can be done, what has been done, and especially to separate the myth of what it is not. People have this idea about robots and AI sometimes, which is not what can happen today. It's a futuristic or dystopian view, but we're going to show today what is possible.
And then we'll show you the conclusion of this experimentation just before the experimentation itself in UAE, France, and basically the implementation all around the world. We will try to be as specific as we could with a lot of examples. We'll try to not be so academic today. If you want academic stuff, we have written a Harvard Business Review article, which was published and that you can find online. And you can read also our books, which are really good and really cheap. Buy them. They are available on Amazon and Alibaba. This is the commercial moment. And please, if you want to receive the book, Artificial Intelligence Manipulation, you just have to like, the profiles on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn and ask for the premiere. Just share a comment and you could receive the book. Mr. Chaloup is exactly what Karim said.
Described it perfectly, but I want to concentrate today on the aspect of being a researcher and working on my doctorate, which is for now, for me, the most important aspect of my life, which is what takes the most of my time.
But science is always something which takes a lot of time. So we're in the context of the Doctorate of Business Administration at the ESGCI. And as we told you, today we are going to ask a couple of questions. First question, is it possible to influence consumer behavior? You come into a boutique, the artificial intelligence in the robot has a couple of things about you, so he can change your mind. Is it possible? Can we increase drive to store traffic? Is it difficult to implement a robot in a boutique like Christofle? These are the questions that we'll try to answer.
So,
which company are we working
okay, so we're working, as we have repeated, Christofle, which is a company in partnership with the Chaloup Group, a Middle Eastern company. Christofle is a French luxury brand that is a very quite old, a very renowned luxury brand of silverware, and that's where I have done the experimentation.
Something that you need to understand, we swear it will take only 1 minute, but it's really important to be sure that everybody knows what we are talking about. Just a little thing about AI. Everybody knows AI now, but you have two kinds of AI. The strong AI
and the weak AI.
And the weak AI. The strong AI is, for example, Terminator, Robocop, The Age of Ultron, all this kind of
iRobots. In other words, it doesn't exist.
It does not
only
exist.
In movies, in books, it's Isaac Asimov, it's everything that does not exist.
Exactly. The weak AI is extremely stupid,
but efficient.
Really efficient. For example, everybody knows Siri. I'm going to tell you a story, which is in my book, really good book. So you have this story, which is incredible. In 2011, Siri was launched. When the engineers of Apple tested Siri, they asked stupid questions like what's the room temperature of a bottle of Coca-Cola? Really stupid questions. And one of them was, hey, Siri, how can I kill myself?
Can you guess what Siri could have answered? Maybe a hotline for a suicide line. No.
Something like this.
But
No.
that wasn't it.
They opened Maps, Google Maps or other, and they designed the quickest way to find a bridge and jump from the bridge.
Wow.
This is, Karim, the weak AI, the weak artificial intelligence. Extremely stupid,
But efficient.
but extremely efficient. Exactly. And how does it work, this weak AI? It's really simple. It collects data everywhere. It's pictures, it's words. It's now, this is what we're going to show you with the robot at Christofle, voice recognition. They can listen to your voice. So they sees all this data, which are feeding algorithms. These algorithms calculate things that a human brain, because it does not have the quantity of data that the AI does, the algorithm calculates something. It learns from all this data. It's a machine learning. It was the small introduction about AI. So now robots with AI.
Robots with AI. So for the executive and academic state of the arts, so during the 3 years, we studied 6 subjects, which are big data and the Internet of Things, which is the basis of artificial intelligence, which is our second topic, which is artificial intelligence as an ethical or unethical, and we'll show you an example, innovation. Then the prediction of consumer behavior, which you all know, for example, on Amazon, on wish lists, the manipulation of consumer purchases by technology,
the human
robot, and finally human-robot interactions.
And we added street marketing because we have worked on it for driving people from the street or from the mall inside the boutique.
Yes.
And I wrote a Harvard case study a couple of years ago about street marketing. So this is the natural link between what we do and what we did. Why? Because we will show you that there is a battle of artificial intelligence, which has been won by some people. No need to go into this battle. You need to go to new battles. We'll show you.
If you need more information, there are some authors about each subject which are here.
Yes, but we promised not too academic.
Not today.
Karim asked us, try to be specific. So let's start with the angle. You see big data and Internet of Things and ethical innovation, and an example.
So people mostly know the Alexa, Amazon's Alexa, or Siri from Apple, or the Google assistants. So these connected objects are Internet of Things. They are personal assistants. What people do not necessarily know is that they record everything all the time, just like your phone, for example, or your computer. It doesn't have to be on, it will record. And in the US, the Alexa, the personal assistant, was a witness to a murder, because even off, it recorded what happened in the household.
So right now, the Justice Court asked Alexa as a witness, because it collected a lot of data. And now we can think about it, and that would be a poll that our friend Karim is going to launch. We also 40 seconds, 30 seconds for leaving our friends.
Yeah, I'm launching it right now. If you would just give us your opinion.
Exactly.
All participants.
So we're going to ask you a question. How many data are collected per day in the world? Try to guess. So 100 billion, 10 billion, 10 million, 1 million per day. So Karim, you let us know when they have answered, huh?
Yeah, sure. So far, we have like 50% have answered. So we'll give them another like 20 seconds. Yeah.
On direct to the Facebook, Harvard Business Week.
Yep, we will end now. And we'll see the results and we'll give us your comment. And here, sharing the results.
More. That's a good. That's a good answer. More than 100 billion.
Much more.
Much more. We could say what? 1,000 billion.
Much more.
10,000 billion.
Much more.
One. No, it's much more. You're right.
It's much more.
2.5.
2.5. Wow.
Quintillion.
What?
18 zero after
Yeah.
the 2.5. 2.5 quintillion of
units of data per day.
This is what we're collecting per day. And Now you understand why a human brain cannot work like an artificial intelligence, a weak AI. So we have so many informations.
So much information. As I said before, your phone does record what you say every day. So, for example, Alipay or Amazon, they create wish lists based on discussions you have all day. If I'm talking about buying a new suit, it will record that fact, even if my phone is in my pocket and I'm not using it. And it will create a wish list and maybe discounts on new suits because we've been talking about that. Most of you maybe have realized that sometimes when you were talking or wanted something without doing research for it, you did have an ad for it. Well, that is why.
So how does it work specifically? Because if you understand the next 3 slides, you will understand now the link with the robots, because right now we're talking about weak AI, weak artificial intelligence online. But you need to understand that for understanding the robots mechanism. So you can see here my Instagram profile. There was a glitch on Instagram, and you can see here that the image may contain 1 or more people sitting and indoor, right? You can see it, okay? And what we can see right now is that here it's Michel and myself, okay? It was 3 or 4 years ago at Harvard Business School, okay, in Boston. You can see that here we were in tie, we were smiling, etc., at Harvard. The scan of the images was so efficient that the day after we were in New York, and you can recognize here, Karim, you can see it, the skyline of New York.
Yeah.
For information, guys, it takes between 100,000 and 4 million of pictures to recognize the skyline.
For an AI.
Yeah, for an AI.
Once an AI recognizes an image, it will recognize it better than any human.
Exactly. A baby can do it in 3 times. 3 pictures of the New York skyline, he can memorize the skyline. You know what happened here? It was 3 years ago, 2017. The day we were in New York, we received a targeted advertisement. Guess for what, Karim? We're going to play with Karim.
Tell me.
An advertisement, we were in New York the day after Boston. Try to guess.
About visiting about visiting the skyline perhaps and going.
Not bad. Or that could be a trick. That could be some toothpaste, you know, for brushing the teeth. No, we received from Macy's 50 for ties. For ties.
For ties.
We do not have ties on that picture.
And the scanner, you can see that in Boston we had ties, we were smiling. But the scanner of Apple, Google, etc., whatever, scanned us and understood that we did not wear ties. We received the advertisement from Macy's, 50% on ties. And it's used in retail.
You can use in retail. Amazon launched a Project Zero, which is an AI with facial or picture recognition, because we say facial recognition, but it's not only the face. And that can recognize counterfeits, because as we said, after a certain number of images, it will recognize an item better than any human. So it's important to recognize counterfeit items on Amazon.
So I always like talking about this in the movie Rollerball. You know Rollerball, where it's a giant dictatorship. The central computer is named Zero. It's just so Project Zero. And about the retail.
So this for the group, the Shadow Group, for example, it's an important step because we always have, every luxury brand has a counterfeit problem in the world.
Yeah.
So that is a good ethical innovation on AI.
And maybe you noticed something. We talk about Google, Apple, Baidu, Alibaba, Amazon, all these big companies. How can you compete with them? That's how we need to think differently. Maybe with robots. The robots can be an Internet of Things. It's not the Terminator. This robot here on wheels, we have seen with Michel in California, a small robot, you know, small automated vehicle delivering some pizza.
Yeah.
We have seen that in California at the University of San Diego.
Pizza robot, yeah.
And here you can see that it can deliver some stuff. At the moment, it's an experimental project. but it's in the street. It's not on the internet. And in the street,
there's data collection.
There is data collection. It's a new market in a mall, in the street. You know how many information this small robot, which is a prototype, can collect per day? 300 billion of data per day with this small robot.
Wow, 300 billion with one small robot. So like if we have like 10 of them, we can imagine what we are collecting. Yeah.
You can imagine, but not calculate.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And now let's go further. The drone from Amazon, which can deliver, you know, in how many times now in England?
In London.
In London.
In London. How long does it take for it to deliver a book?
13 minutes. You purchase, in 13 minutes, you can have sometimes your book or maybe something else than a book because people are not buying books anymore. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Amazon drone, for example, now delivers and take pictures of your roof
or your garden,
and they see if you have some holes. So they are collecting information, and they can sell you other information, advertisement. This is the business model.
Yeah. Yeah, we have an interesting question just about collecting the information from Dr. Chrisandas about the invading of privacy when you collect information from the street without permission.
Okay. It's a really good, but what is the question exactly? It's an
isn't it invading privacy?
Okay.
When you do that?
Of course. He's totally right.
It is, but we're talking for now about a roof. It's just like if I'm looking at the roof of somebody in front and I would be invading his privacy. It's a roof, it's on the outside. It's a bit complicated in this case. In some cases, it would be an invasion of privacy, but a roof, it's more complicated to determine.
So in the majority of the case, it also depends on the regulation. For example, in China, you have a lot of cameras everywhere in the street. So it depends on the political context. It's really important. Of course, also it depends of the politics. If they want to push a lot of data collection, maybe before using the information. So it can be an invasion of privacy. But if this a gentleman or a lady who asked the question?
Actually, I missed the name. I think it's yeah.
Doesn't matter. This person, if she or he has a problem with privacy, maybe you should think to stop using Google. Because I think that all your conversations are recorded and all your email are scanned, and it started around 14 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Every search, every word, even on Google Maps where you've been, even if you don't use maps, they know where you've been, what you've been doing, how much time you spent in the store. So if you're going to start to have a problem with privacy, you're going to have to start to have a problem with all technology.
Yeah.
But anyway, this person is right. It's a big invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
So you see that we can collect in the streets information. This is our thesis. We can, of course, influence consumer behavior, but we can, and we are going to show you that the future of AI, if you want to make money, is not only online, but offline, merge, online, OMO.
Okay. Let us see.
So here are a couple of examples. We are working a lot with China. In the doctorate program, we have a couple of doctorate students. We say hello to them, by the way, because we saw that they have registered from China. So here you can see the robots, and there is another poll which is coming up in a couple of seconds. So in Hangzhou, for example, where you have the headquarters of Alibaba that I have visited. I get a conference there. And there is a hotel, the Flyzoo Hotel. Do you know how many, it's a small quantity, how many employees you have in the Flyzoo Hotel held by Alibaba in Hangzhou? Can you try to...
I have a poll for that. Let's check.
Yes.
So we're going to launch the poll now.
Okay, so try
how many employees? Yeah.
You have between 0 and 5, or 5 and 10, 10 and 20. And we know that, you know, in a hotel, you have hundreds of employees, specifically in the Middle East, where you have a lot of employees. The service is better.
Yeah. So we'll give it another 20 seconds.
Karim, we cannot vote for the poll.
No, you cannot. Only attendees can vote. Yeah, cannot influence that. We'll give it other 10 seconds. Almost 50% have voted so far. Yeah. We will end now. Yeah. And we're sharing the results.
Okay, that's not as good.
What do you think?
It's not as good as before.
But they,
okay.
they could not.
They
So
could not
basically, no, but it's
not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. So basically, in this hotel, you have zero human,
Except for the customers, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
You cannot interact with you cannot interact with humans. This is all the idea. Everything is done by the concept of robots. Exactly.
Mhm.
So it gives us a lot of interesting questions about human and robot interactions.
Yeah.
And this is what we are going to show you now.
For our experience.
We have worked during 3 to 4 years on these projects, and we'll show you what we have created.
Christofle was looking, Christofle, the French luxury brand, was looking for a street driving experience because they have a traffic problem. Not enough customers enter the store. So it should be in France, in the UAE, in the whole world, they do not have enough customers. So we tried
like any luxury brand. Like any luxury brand.
So we tried to find an innovative experience to drive to store some customers.
So
And to increase the sales.
So the idea that the CEO, who is really dynamic and innovative, Nathalie Remy, decided to create also innovative bus for showing that Christofle is
multi-generational, because usually people think of Christofle as art de la table, as silverware, but most people, for example, do not know that they make jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they make cutlery. So it's really a brand awareness and image. It's a whole. They want to do something innovative to really change the image of Christofle.
And it works really well because they are full of innovations all around the world. And for this, we have visited a lot of robots companies. During 2 years.
Between China, US, UAE, France.
And Japan, Korea, Germany, all around the world. And
Russia.
Yeah, Russia. Try to guess. I think that there is another poll, right?
Can you guess how many companies have we met?
And have we met,
After
visited,
3 years.
exchanged, etc. And just to give you a clue, Boston Dynamics, which is one of the best robot companies in the world, which is a former company from Google. Now they are run by SoftBank Robotics, which have paper. A couple of weeks ago, they did not sell any robots. So we contacted them, we called them, nobody answered, and now they are deploying robots.
Only one for now.
Yeah, we'll launch the poll now.
So how many robots did we contact for the project? Just for giving you an idea. So yes, if you want to work in robotics, you need to understand that you have a lot of experimental projects, but the future of robots is totally crazy. For example, the CEO of SoftBank Robotics, which owns Boston Dynamics, he wants a robot with an IQ
of 10,000.
Of 10,000 in 2035. Right now, the top IQ of the world is between 200 and 240.
Wow.
Give you an idea.
Let's share the results now. There you go.
Okay, more, yeah, that's right. So we have contacted.
We have met with exactly 18.
Mm-hmm.
80.
Met,
18.
Exchanged. We saw robots.
Yeah.
We tested robots, and finally, with all what the brand wanted, because once again, it's scary for a luxury brand, a 200 years old brand.
It's so scary that they even wanted to not go too forward. They did not want Nathalie Remy specifically asked for no facial recognition.
Karim, the gentleman or the lady talked about the invasion of privacy. The CEO of Christofle thought no facial recognition.
Exactly. She wanted to avoid that, especially in France with the GDPR. It's always very complicated. Privacy and data. So there was absolutely no facial recognition.
So, but the robot that we have can do it, but we did not use it in the experiment.
Okay.
If you go to Maserati store in China. You come into the store, and the facial recognition of the camera recognizes you and show you that you entered and what type of client you are, etc., etc. Christophe wanted to keep some privacy for their VIP clients. So we decided with all these legal problems to use one small robot about 1 meter, called Kicker, for many things. First, it can scan, of course, any type in 3D, in 3 dimensions, any boutique, and it can be autonomous. It can project stuff. It can listen people, but specifically for one reason, we chose this one. Try to guess.
If you know the brand Christofle, you can probably guess what is the reason.
So for the people who know that, we know that it's not a pool, Karim.
Yeah.
Just we want to leave 3 or 4 seconds, people using their Google phone, and just type Christofle online.
Okay.
And you will see
the iconic, the most iconic item they have is the mood. So the mood will not help as a name. So the mood is the Christofle egg.
So it's an egg in silver, and you know Christofle for the last 200 years have been the world leader in silverware. Yeah. So the idea was having a robot which did look like the egg. And after 2 years, we could tell you it was difficult. It was really difficult.
Yeah.
So, so we're happy because now you can see in the flagship store Rue Royale in Paris, France, a huge Maison Christofle on 5 floors, beautiful Rue Royale in Paris. You can be welcomed by a robot, which was named Charles. Why Charles? Because
founder Charles Christofle
was the founder around 200 years ago. And you can see here the different moods, the different eggs, and you have exactly, so we of course customized the robot in silver gray, etc., etc. And the robot has a voice recognition program, so you can interact with it, and you can have the robot saying hello, how are you, blah 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 blah. You can set up some stuff. Okay. So Charles, a small video, Karim?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so just a couple of rushes about Boutique Christofle. You see the egg and the mood.
Yeah, very nice.
Now, so it's not a vacuum. And anybody, you know, integrated with AI, voice recognition, can interact, ask questions.
Okay.
Interact, ask questions, and it can have data collection. It's totally possible. Okay, so this is the robot Charles, or Charles Christofle, the robot Charles, and customers. All right, and Michel has spent these last weeks at the boutique, so everybody knows Charles there. And you could see that we are going to launch a promotional movie in a couple of days with all the you know tricks of the robot. And really important project. This is really important. You ask, for example, Charles, show me this.
The mood. Can I change the color? Can I have it in silver, in gold? It will project the different options.
Wow. Impressive.
Okay. Now, how much for how much? We're between professionals, not only, you know, Dr. Saucé, future Dr. Chaloub. We're here for also thinking about business. So, scientific experimentation with data collection in the field, qualitative and quantitative. We can notice from a personal point of view, and that was the doctorate of Michel. This is the doctorate of Michel. A lot of companies were scared about robots.
Always. Yeah. As we said before, it's really a step forward that if you go to a startup, they'll be ready to use it. But a luxury company, it's too modern, too different. It's usually, they say, not in the code of the house. It's not the code of doing. So yes, it's a step forward, but you should know that in 15 years,
there will be robots everywhere.
Every household will have around 3 robots. I'm not talking about a washing machine. I'm talking about a robot.
Yeah.
Customers are staying longer due to the interaction with robots. Around 5 minutes more on average. You know, it goes really fast. Hello, Charles. So can I follow you? The movie of the company, and just a little innovative interaction, 5 minutes more. And everybody knows that in 5 minutes,
you can make a sale.
You can make
a sale, yeah.
The experience changes. The customer will be willing to come back for something different.
Who did the data collection? It was you by yourself, right?
I did it by myself.
Personally.
Personally.
Wow.
Yes.
Yourself.
Yes, because we noticed when we visited robots companies that a lot of fake things are happening in AI and in robots industries. You have a lot of foolish people or liars or people who are just showing you prototypes. So we wanted to see by ourselves.
Okay.
So we brought on average 22 more people in the boutique per hour. It was a Saturday. In 30 minutes, in 31 minutes exactly, we brought 11 people. Their best day is Saturday, it's around 10 people, 10, 11 people. So in 30, up to 15. So
sorry, Mr. Chalot.
So in less than an hour, we brought as much people as their best Saturday.
And we're going to Karim?
Yeah, but here I have a quick question. As a luxury brand, are you interested more on the kind of people entering the shop rather than the, let's say, traffic?
Okay, so there are many ways to answer. So first thing you can, if you have the facial recognition, it takes only a couple of seconds for setting up the robot with the facial recognition program like Nestor AI, you know, a company I work on with Michel. It takes a couple of seconds for recognizing, for example, a woman from a man. It takes a couple of seconds.
Milliseconds.
Yeah, exactly, milliseconds. Then you can say, okay, I want this kind of woman from a certain age, etc., etc. You know, it's awful and unethical to say this, but this is what Google does every day with your emails. This is what Apple does every day in your cell phone. This is what Instagram is doing every day with everyone. And there is no revolution. Like everything, it's shocking now. In 10 years, we will forget this conversation. So just an example, look at this. Yeah. It was in Paris. You have the subtitle in English. So you can see the robots in the street. You can see me and Michel here. And the robot invited people to come inside the boutique. And the guy here is now with a salesman. And at the end, you see Michel here. We have been mentioned on social media. So the guy, you see, was posting on Instagram. So it's also creating the buzzing interaction.
And I think the robot is multilingual as well, right?
It's totally possible. It's totally. Yeah. Just think that it's a cell phone. It's a cell phone with a body.
Yeah.
It's not a chatbot. It's a robot. The robot has body. The chatbot has no body.
Okay.
So we're going to move on with different other projects. So we can show you basically that we're in contact, but I'm going to let Michel talk about it. So we have met the CEO of this robot, Sophia, Hanson Robotics, David Hanson.
Which we even saw this morning.
Exactly, we saw him this morning. That's true.
Okay.
Yes. So we want to implement robots. So we're not going to spend a long time on it because it's not the subject of today. But robots in an Emirates airport in Dubai, of course. So we want to implement it into either lounge or check-in to interact with customers to help, because there is not the same regulations as in France, for one, for facial recognition, and secondly, with facial recognition, as we said, we can do much more. The robot can do much more, collect even more data, but also use that in better fashion.
Okay. So it's still an experimentation, but we see Havas Media, which is linked with the Chalot Group, in a couple of days in Dubai. So that will be the 23rd of July, something like this, on this experimentation. Another thing that we want to show you, we are also not in touch. We are working with Boston Dynamics, and the kind of robots we want to work on.
The robot we're going to show you is not commercialized.
It's
for industrial use. Well, it is using for industrial use, but it's not commercialized. But this, they use it usually as a baseline to improve their other robots.
And to understand our goal, once again, we want to show that scientifically we could move on with robot, with a simple small robot. Now that we have scientific results, that nobody is going to tell us, no, I don't think, I'm not sure. Okay, you don't want because you don't want to move on, but scientifically we have some results.
We have a robot with no facial recognition, a small robot that can hardly it does interact, but we can be more ambitious, and we already have good positive scientific results on that. So when we're going to present bigger, more ambitious projects, we have at least a baseline of proof that robots and AI do influence and do enhance the customer experience.
And we're working here, and that will be just before the conclusion, a small video with the company we're working with.
Please, let's
so
go.
it's the Atlas. Now we have some interesting collaboration with Boston Dynamics for the robot spot. We just wanted to show you the Atlas, which is still an experimentation, but it's not science fiction. You see a real robot.
Okay. Wow.
We repeat,
Wow.
it is not science fiction. So what you
So
see,
it's not from the Terminator or something.
exactly, it's an experimentation. And now we are going to move on with bigger robots, more complex robots. Depends on the brand, facial recognition, because etc., etc., etc. So we just want to conclude with different elements. And then Karim, I'm sure that we have a lot of questions.
Yes, we have several questions that we will hit, yeah.
So Mr. Chaloub, if you want to,
of course,
take the first part of the conclusion.
Well, it is difficult. It took us 3 years. It is difficult to implement a robotic project, to insert the AI, to have a team to code everything, to compile everything together. Because here we have a robot, for example, what you just showed you from Boston Dynamics, but that's not the AI. It's two different aspects. It has to be compatible. You have to work it together. It takes a team to do it. But once it is done, it can be duplicated. The first example, the first project is always the most difficult, and then it's pretty much copy-paste. So we wanted to create a toolbox, an example of how to use AI to drive sales, to drive traffic and sales to a store.
And maybe, so in the article, you have our toolbox. In the Harvard Business Review, you have the toolbox with all the elements and advices.
Yeah.
The Chaloub Group being a luxury retailer in the Middle East, and Christofle being a French luxury brand, especially around luxury, digital transformation is always slower or hesitant.
Like any digital transformation. It's not, yeah.
Except again today with the startups we have.
Yeah, but it's a pure player.
It's a pure player. But we try to show that a digital transformation and a big innovative digital transformation is an asset to any kind of brand, especially luxury brands, which can recreate, sometimes redesign how they think, how they work.
And I'm going to add only two basic things. So it's always a pleasure, of course, to work with Michel on this fantastic project. But you need to, guys, all the community which is watching us now, you need to understand that robots can be a perfect almost solution. Online, merge offline. Online, merge offline. Don't think online anymore. The future of data collection is in the boutique, is in the street. It's in the mall. It's not only on a cell phone or a laptop. You can create a lot of surprise offline. In retail, you can collect a lot of data. You can create some buzz with the robots that we have showed you. And think about it. We just wanted to do scientific experimentations. We brought a lot of people with a small robot just customized with the Christofle. Of course, we could bring something else, but it's the beginning. And in a world where let's talk about the AI brands.
Battle, of course.
AI brands.
Do you know, so the AI battle is over. It's been won.
By who?
Do you know which companies won this AI fight?
I have 8 names in my mind. Google, Apple, Facebook,
Amazon.
Amazon, Baidu,
That's
Alibaba,
for
Tencent, Xiaomi.
in
Yeah,
China, yeah.
exactly.
So it's been won. That battle is over.
Excuse me, Michel, but yeah, can you compete with Amazon today?
In data,
Or
it's
with
impossible.
Baidu? Or with Baidu?
Or Google, you
It's
cannot.
impossible.
How many times you do a research on Google? I mean, you cannot compete with these companies in AI. It's impossible.
So if you want to move on now, the future of AI is offline. It's a paradox, but it's offline. Okay. The future of AI is in the street. It's in the boutique.
Very interesting.
So the last battle was lost. So the new battle, the Omo battle, can still be won today.
Exactly. So if you want more information about who can win this battle, if you are suited to work on this battle, on this field of artificial intelligence, etc., we have only one advice in 6 words. Read our Harvard Business Review article.
Okay. Thank you so much. And for all of you guys who's been asking about the article, yes, we'll send you a copy of a link of the article in the follow-up email, which will also include the recording of today's session. So are we ready to move to the Q&A?
Yes.
Okay, now one quick question, which is a common theme mentioned by many people, is the relevance of your experiment on other industries. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, from our experience or in general? I mean, personal experience or a writing and research experience?
No, personal, your personal thinking, being a researcher and a professional, yeah.
Okay, and in other sectors, right?
Yes.
Okay, education.
Okay.
Robots in amphitheaters for checking who was missing, who was not really attentive, specifically with the brand Nestor AI.
Explain Nestor.
Yeah, okay. So basically, Karim, we gave all together, I think, an interesting presentation. But maybe, you know, everybody was online checking their emails or something else with their cell phone. The camera of Nestor can detect with facial recognition.
If you're listening.
The robot can see if you're listening or not,
if
because
you're thinking, your eyes.
Exactly, your eyes are going to the left, to the right, and if you are not attentive, you can receive through your WeChat or something else a text. You are not attentive. That can be also in cars industries, but basically, it's specifically, we can show you a couple of quick examples. It's also a lot in cybersecurity or security with robots patrolling the street. You can see the picture now. All the spots, Boston Dynamics, in the Norwegian oil and gas company Aker BP has the Boston Dynamics robots for security reasons, because it can go where nobody can go.
Okay. Can we stop sharing the screen now so people can get the full view of yourself? And now I have a question also about is it very challenging to market robotics products in UAE? What are the problems related to documentation and approvals? That's from,
sorry, because we did stop sharing the screen. Can you repeat?
They're talking about the challenges to market robotics products in the UAE and related to approvals.
It's exactly like any other market in the world. The UAE are a normal market. They want to make money. They want to attract customers. They want to have the best hotels in the world with the best robots. So the approvals will come. It's just a question of who's going to be the first, who's going to be the last.
Okay, so that's bringing us to another question about how can AI create new jobs in the MENA region, in the Middle East and North Africa region?
Bring or destroy?
Bring.
No, create.
Create.
Well, when AI...
Well, I think we need to talk about both, maybe, perhaps.
That's true. Both subjects are very good, but for the creation, mainly everything that is data analysts, data scientists, every job turned around data to enhance the AI will, of course, be created. More there is AI, more we're going to need data analysts and scientists.
And, for example, at the airport, you will have more and more employees which are going to be robots, patrolling in the airport, answering questions, but you will need people for creating these robots, for making these robots, for fixing the robots, for carrying the robots, for washing the robots, etc., etc. So nothing is so simple. When you have an industrial revolution, you have always winners and of course losers.
Some
but
jobs
every time
get destroyed, some jobs
but it creates more. It creates more than it destroys.
So I think that's also answered the question of Joseph Sabah, and who's asking what do expect. Yeah. And because he's also thinking that the current pandemic might push towards the robot use. So you agree with that?
Yes, of course. These kind of pandemics actually brings robots to light where you think it's completely COVID-19 free. You do not interact with a human, you cannot get sick. So it does help. That is actually sometimes an argument that you used for Charles. It is a COVID-19 free client support.
It can, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what about sales associate? Do they have to be worried about being replaced with robots?
At the moment, no. I'm going to tell you why. It's not science fiction. So you will always need an associate, a sales associate. For what? Because of course you have, Michel is going to tell you about Kleinke and a specific experimentation. The human contact in sales is really important. Of course you can collect a lot of data, but you know, there is a beautiful story about the cooperation machine and man, the Centaurus, you know, this legend, which was half horse and half human. This is the best cooperation, when a human can lead a machine. This is how it works. It's not the car itself, which is super fast. It's the driver and the car. And just about Kleinke, just for explaining.
Well, this was the basis of the research, actually. Kleinke in 1977 proved that humans will be more compliant to your demands if there is a contact. The example was he left a coin, she left a coin in a phone booth at the time where phone booths still existed, and went away. When another person came into that booth, they asked them if they found a coin. And it was 20 to 30% yes. She really did the experiment, but at that time, she touched the person when she asked the question. The compliance of the positive answers went to 70%. So there's a very big difference in compliance when there is contact. That is why at first we wanted to put the AIs into a robot to have that contact. Of course, for Christophe and Charles, the small robot does not have arms. It's not a humanoid. It's not an android.
We saw somebody else did this to the robot, you know?
The robot. Crazy. The human, that contact does help to, it does create, even if we do not realize, some form of intimacy.
So I think you are also answering partially right now question of Aida about the society would be better in robot and technology. That is about like getting the advantage of the technology while keeping the human element behind it. I guess that is the answer somehow.
No, of course.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's a cooperation.
Yeah.
You know, we spend hours and hours giving you all the examples, but basically this is it.
Yeah. Now, Thuraya is asking a question because many questions are about the effect of robots on working people. Is there any standard percentage of how many robots could substitute people you've noticed in your experiment, or?
No, not on this experiment, but you have two new scientific studies which have been done, which differentiated the automation of tasks, which can be done by artificial intelligence and robots. So the first one was Oxford in 2013, but now we have two recent. One is from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and we can see that between 8 and 30% of the jobs anyway can be replaced by robots and machines. But really important, guys, and it's in the article and in my book, the article that we have written together with Michel, really important. You know that in a car factory, you have robots, just an arm, but it's a robot, okay? Never forget, all of you who are scared right now, the top countries of the world, which had the biggest number of robots, the two countries, Japan and Germany, are the two countries where the unemployment rate is the lowest of the world. Never forget that.
And also in this experiment, this robot was not aimed to replace a human, but to enhance the experience. So it also depends on the use you want for it.
Yeah, I have so many questions. I will pick two, and then we will wrap up with the book. Now, when do you tell that an question from Rima, when to tell that an interaction actually happened between a robot and a human?
Once the human talks to the robot, for example, show me a product or bring me to the silverware or the jewelry, and that starts an interaction.
Exactly.
Okay. We want to try delivering parcels to the roof of our customers using drones. when they are not at home, from where we can start our experiment?
Which country?
I think it should be, let's give UAE as an example, since it's the
don't do it in UAE. No, because we have done, drones, a lot of drones, not deliveries, but with my marketing agency. We have done a lot of shootings with Christian Gamashi.
You need too much.
It's Oman, the country.
It's Oman, yeah. But basically, it depends of the. I'm not an Oman expert of drone deliveries. I'm sorry, but basically it depends on the regulation. Just first check the regulation. If it's in the toolbox that we have written in a Harvard Business Review article. In the toolbox, we mention check the regulation first before launching your stuff. And sometimes choose another market. Leave your country if you cannot. Otherwise, it's terrible.
Okay. Final question. What do you think about the cost of robots nowadays? Are they affordable?
No.
No.
So when they are going to be affordable, you think?
At least 10 to 15 years.
Yes, but it depends of what robots we are talking about.
Of course.
Okay.
This experimentation, we have been really smart and we pushed the cost really low. But basically, you can do an experimentation for basically $5,000. It can go up to $2 million. These are the most expensive robots that we have seen.
We did quotes with different companies, including Hansen, Robotics, and so on.
Okay. Now I wanted to move to your book, but I received a very interesting question. Please try to address it quickly. I have been asked to guide students in the police academy to do research on AI and crime reduction. Can you advise on related topics?
Advice and related
Yeah, just Google patrolling robots, China, Beijing, and you will have information.
Okay.
Now, we have time, Karim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Now, can you tell us about your book now?
Yeah, basically. So we share the screen, right?
Yes, please do. If you can share the screen again.
So I would like to congratulate first Karim.
Of course.
Yeah, we would like to
Thank you,
congratulate Karim.
Thanks to you guys. It's really a pleasure having you today.
And,
really unique session.
Mahmoud from Harvard Business Review and Harvard Business Review Arabia. It's really serious.
Happen. Yeah, who made everything happen. So
really serious for you.
Thanks to you guys.
I just try to share my screen. I don't understand what's going on. So where? Excuse me, Karim. Oh yeah.
No worries.
Okay. You are going to see the screen in a couple of seconds, and we should be good.
Yeah.
Yes, two things. So read, of course, our experimentations in Harvard Business Review. This is from this month. The book will be available. Artificial intelligence manipulation of customers will be available by eCust edition in September, but you can have it in premiere if you like. Really important: Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Why? Because when the product is free, you are the product. And of course, we're working in the doctorate of business administration program. Michel is finishing his doctoral research. ESGCI and the University of San Diego. Feel free to apply. And we could also advise you. And you need to be a student for receive some advices.
That's great. Well, we're concluding our session today. Thank you again, Marcel and Michel, for your insights today, for such an amazing interactive presentation of your experiment. And hopefully we will have a session perhaps in 6 months, a year time, to see how far did we go and see what have emerged in the future and what are the new challenges in this. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you for all our attendance. And as I've said, you'll receive any follow-up email with a recording of the webinar today, as well as a link to the article. Have a good day, everyone, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Karim.
Bye-bye.